Assalamu alaikum. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking about Unit 5 and the various lessons in Unit 5. We have so far talked about the first lesson in Unit 5. And the first reading selection is Technology and Society of the Future. We have finished reading its text. Today we are going to talk about its exercise. Exactly like the previous lessons, this exercise also have three sections. The first one is recalling. It has questions from 1 to 11. The other portion is interpreting. It has questions from 12 to 14, and the last, which is extending, it has two questions, 15 and 16. But if you remember, I told you that this part, this recalling part, is included in your examination. The examiners mostly, they used to take questions out of this portion and they ask those questions in your examination. But for me, I believe interpreting and extending portion, they are equally important, and I believe they are more important than recalling, because in recalling, the examiner or the exercise, they basically ask you those questions which have already been directly discussed in the story. These things are already given in the lesson, and as in the traditional way, I can exactly show you from which line to which exact line this is the answer of that question, for example. But again, that will kill your creativity. You will just memorize them by heart, and there will be no sign of creativity in your answers, which is extremely required of you at this stage. That is why I am more focused on interpreting and extending also, but we will discuss these three parts all together. Now, to start the exercise formally, let's quickly talk about the theme of the unit. Remember, you have to keep this in your mind that in Unit 5 we will be talking about technology and gender inequality. The first lesson, that is based on technology, we have finished reading the text. We are going to discuss its exercise. The next one is based on gender inequality, which will be discussed in the coming lectures. Now, please open your books on page 175. I'm going to discuss the recalling section of the exercise, in which we have 11 questions. I'm going to discuss the first question. Question number 1. When did the modern science and technology begin to make progress? Now, man has always been looking for discoveries. Man has always been looking to make his or her life luxurious, comfortable. That has always been the desire of man. Man always wanted to fly. But this thirst for knowledge, this thirst for technological advancement, that was felt back in 17th century, right? And it has already been mentioned in your book. So you will answer this question. Please bring in the context. I told you in so many lectures that you have to answer the questions giving them the context at the same time. So the context for this question would be, you can answer this question in a way that science and technology has played enormous, it played a very important role in making the life of human being more easy, luxurious and comfortable. But at the same time, if we look at back the history, science and technology has its progress, and it is rooted in 17th century basically. It does not mean that previously man was not looking into new things. There were no discoveries. Of course, people were discovering things. As in Renaissance and as in 14th century, you have seen that Renaissance began in the Europe, which eventually become the background, or we can say which become the root cause for the technological advancement that we have today. So you can answer this question in a way that according to the writer, man has always been interested in unfolding the truth of universe, but modern science and technology, it has started its progress in 17th century, right? See, this question is quite direct. it can be answered in one line, but if you bring in the context, it will give us a holistic answer. And by context, what I mean is that you have to mention that what are we actually discussing. We are discussing technology and society of the future. It means we are working, or we are looking at the technology which is at its present stage, and we are also going to predict about the future. That was very much there in this lesson, right? Look at question number 2. How have modern science and technology brought a revolution in the life of human beings? Now, that answer can be given in so many ways, but you will answer it that with the blessings of modern science and technology, man is able to fly. Man is able to control the diseases. In simple words, man is capable of reaching from one distance to another in matter of hours. Previously, it used to take months and even years, but now man can travel from one continent to another within the matter of hours. We have, different ways of communication. Previously, we used to send letters, and it used to take months. Now you can send a message on mobile phone or on WhatsApp or on social media within seconds, right? So there are so many, we can say, fields that science and technology has played its important role in it, but we cannot exactly enumerate them, right? Question number 3, how has science enabled man to modify his environment? Now, you can answer the question that this question, you can add this thing in every answer. You can say that this question has been taken from Science and Technology, which was an article published in an English newspaper, and the question basically is that how man has become capable of changing or controlling its environment. It does not mean that we are in such a situation that we can even control the seasons. That, for example, you don't want summers and you will delay the summer. That is not to that level, but you can change at least the temperature of your room. You can at least change, the mindset that we used to have previously about superstitions. For example, a black cat, that it crossed my way, so I will have a bad luck today. That these superstitions, these fortune tellings, these things has vanished just because of the advancement of science and technology. So you will answer the question that in environmental condition, a man is capable to control its environment in a way that we can also control the temperature of our rooms. We can also control the temperature of our cities even. Previously, I told you in Karachi there was a huge heat wave, and they were, man basically was capable of having artificial showers in those areas. And also, we are more aware of the surroundings, how things happen, how can we control, for example, global warming, what are the benefits of trees, and what are the disadvantages of cutting them down, etc. That is how man is capable of controlling its environment. Question number 4, what did people believe in before the establishment of science and technology? Okay, that's a quite straightforward question. You will answer the question in a way that previously people used to believe in superstitions, in fortune tellings. What is superstition? I told you, for example, this was a very common thought back in the society, that if a black cat cuts your way, or if it crosses your way, you will have a bad fortune. There's another concept that, for example, if a crow is, it produces its own sounds, and it is flying over your head, for example, it means that it has brought some news for you, a good or a bad. So people used to have these superstitions previously. Fortune telling, for example, there were different people previously, and they used to check your palms, and they will predict about your future based on those lines in your palms. These are basically what we call fortune telling. So superstitions and fortune tellings, these were basically the things that people used to believe before the advancement of science and technology. Question number 5, how do people think in the era of science and technology? It's a very good question. In the times of science and technology, or in the era of science and technology, people think logically, critically, and with evidence. For example, if you ask today a person these things are still there in our societies, but I won't consider these third world countries in that list, but still, if you ask a person that, for example, a storm will come tomorrow, right? A storm will come tomorrow and it will hit your city. So definitely that person will ask, and they will go and Google and check the weather updates of their own city, and they will ask you, gentlemen, there is no signals and signs of such a storm or even a rainfall tomorrow, based on those scientific and technological prediction that we used to get from weather updates. Persons or people are more now logical, and they will ask for proof or logic that how or based on what thing you are predicting that tomorrow there is going to be a storm in my city. So they won't directly believe on you, no matter what your status is. Question number 6. Why did millions of people die in Great Plague that started in 542 AD? Of course, this is a question which is targeted towards the technological advancement in the fields of health, right? So in 542 AD, why so many people died? Because previously we had less development in our fields of health. We did not have medicines. We did not have, for example, we did not have antibiotics. We did not have those digital advanced instrument, for operating, different operations of the patients. And we did not have anesthesia, for example. We did not have, antibiotics, which is a very important aspect in medicine or in medical world. Same goes for so many other things that we used to miss them, right? For example, just look at now, we are having ventilators. Previously, when we did not have these ventilators, people used to die. So we can keep a person alive artificially on a ventilator for a long time, right? Which does not mean that the person is dead. But for example, if a person is so damn weak that he can't even breathe, so we provide them ventilators. And what does ventilator do? They actually give them these artificial oxygen. And that is how we used to keep them alive. And maybe they will recover. So many people, a large number of people used to recover from the ventilators even. So because of the absence of these technological advancement in the health, in the field of medicines, that is why so many people died. Question number 7. When and by whom was penicillin discovered? So it can be a one-line question, but you will say that penicillin is one of the most important discoveries of mankind in the fields of medicines, and it was discovered by Alexander Fleming in 1927. Question number 8. Has smallpox been eradicated once for all from the world? Yes. It has been eradicated from the face of the earth with the help of vaccinations, with the help of medicines, with the help of advanced technology that we have in the field of medicines. Question number 9. How people traveled from one place to another in olden days? What hardship did they have to suffer? In the olden days, they used to travel by foot or animal. These two were the means of communication. And when they used to travel by foot or animals, they used to take months to reach from one place to another. At the same time, these journeys were extremely difficult. When you travel for 1 month, you need food of 1 month. When you travel for 1 month, it means you need basic facilities. You need water. How would you carry the amount of water that you are going to need for 1 month, right? How are you going to carry the amount of food that you are going to need throughout the journey, which is going to be for 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, right? Which was extremely difficult, and there were lots of hardship that people used to face, when they used to travel from one place to another using their foot or the animals. Question number 10. What revolution has taken place in the field of transportation due to modern technology? Of course, due to the advancement in science and technology, in the means of transportation, a man can be transported from one place to another in the matter of minutes and hours and days even. It has squeezed the distance basically. Science and technology, or the advancement of science and technology in the field of transportation, we can reach to one place from one place to another in a very short time. Same goes for cargoes. For example, if previously we used to send some luggage or goods from one place to another, it used to take months or years even. but now it can be transported with a lot of speed with the help of railways, aeroplanes, speedy trains, etc. So that is basically, or we are having speedy cars, we are BRT systems, we have metro systems which are more fast, efficient, user friendly, and it is easy for humans to be transported from one place to another in a short time. I'm going to turn the page. I'm on 176 now, the last question of recording section. Question number 11. Enumerate the various means of communication brought about by modern technology and science. This is basically about the communication, how we used to previously communicate. So you can answer the question in a way that previously we used to wait long for our communications. We used to send messages. It used to take months and more than months or days and weeks, and it used to take so much time that by the time that the news reached that point, it was useless. Then, for example, if your loved one is there in Karachi and you wanted to inform him about the death of one of his beloved family members, and if you sent him that letter, it used to take 7 or 8 days to reach there. So the news was useless in a manner that he could not come and see him or her, or attend the funeral, etc. So back then it was extremely difficult to communicate. But now, with the help of science and technology, we have telephones, we have telegraphs, we have WhatsApp, social media groups, we have fast means of communication. We can talk to people through video calls, through audio calls in a matter of seconds, which is a huge revolution in the field of communication, which is being made possible by the technological advancement. Right? So that is basically your recalling section. I hope you have understood that. Most of the answers, not most of them, almost all of them are given back in your lessons. If you read the lesson, if you read the question and go back to the lesson, you can easily find these answers. But what I would suggest you to please come up with your own answer. Try to answer the questions from your own, give your own practical examples from your daily life routine, from your own experiences. That will add a lot of flavor to your language. At the same time, you will have more chances to secure higher marks. I hope that is enough. I'm going to discuss interpreting and extending in the next lecture, inshallah. I will see you all soon. Thank you very much.